Yeah. Okay. Right. Oh, yeah. Okay, so welcome to my screening of Slow Progress, which is my research project. It's sort of like a practicing research film, and then we'll play the film, and then after we'll have a Q&A about my process and about durational film and performance.
Oh, non hanno roba.
Sorry, ce was snel.
No, nee. Ik heb akker van hen, denk ik.
Ja, ty wyszkas? Aż nie to was. Że powiadła.
Laat hem serieus maar in de Chyba?
Nie, aż tak studiuję.
Ja, als ik hier doe. Doe maar.
Kasakie? Kasakie?
Ik hier doe af. Koffie. Farm. Tid. Tidlig.
I så vi så det.
Okay.
man gaila jūsų fermas, bet jūs vis tiek manęs negalit kaltinti.
Ali, čia pavedalo, padedai to.
Jūs teisus. Man nerūpi nei jūs, nei jūsų ferma ir man visiškai nusišim. Bet jūs vis tiek manęs negalit kaltinti.
Padarė.
Aš nelabai supratau.
Ali, čia papainė, bet gal gali chvaith nagrit.
Man rūpi tik tie žmonės, kuriems aš rūpiu.
Cantik ke hari ni?
Sudah kalau
Jangan ambil gambar. Korang ni anak bapak kan?
Kali ini gawai.
Cepat. Korang ni datang bercuti ke memang dari sini?
Čia benar benar gawai.
mes atostogaujam ir kaip tik mano tėtis sakė, kad mane
Ai, dar reikia
kad
labai.
vaikino universitete.
Oh. Awak dari sini ke? Ni awak macam lain sikit. Masalah kan? Macam lain sikit. Tak tak. Tapi saya betul.
Oke, kalau sekolah lu enggak gue.
Tai jis turi čia.
Ini bisa terapa tuh?
Awak ni jangan keluarga ke?
Tapi menekam kan dari mana? Jadi dia bagi les.
Oh, jadi awak bukan... Awak...
Ji turi tokią pat teisę čia būti, kaip ir tu.
Ada sekali. Ada di kau kemari.
Saya boleh pergi, tak ada masalah.
Tu manai, kad ji nepriklauso tavo liūdnam pasauliui. Kas tau negerai?
Kedia terus dikit. Di sini tuh lama itu apa tuh sih? Aku bisa lawan asa slav.
Jūs tikrai tą pasakėt. Aš neslavė. Lietuva yra viena Baltijos valstybių. Ką tu mokyklai veikiai? Neit.
Osa nela sih cuma kedia beda mata mate.
Jums tikrai nerūpi senelė.
Ada seorang tu.
Tai jūs turit šeimą.
Alah, kita semua kan ada keluarga kat mana-mana pun.
Right. Okay. Slow progress. That was the film. So that's mainly like a practice with research sort of angle I took on it. So it was all about my learning process during making the film. I know the final product is not polished. I know that it's not exactly what it could have been if I had the equipment. That's Steadicam, etc. Certain microphones. I know I needed more filming time, but unfortunately that was availability of actors at the same time. So I had a lot of things going against me. So this is what I've come up with. Any questions, first of all, just broader sense in terms of the film to start with?
Forget what was against you. What were you intending to do when you started out?
So I was intending to make a durational film, not a durational film, in fact, a slow cinema style film. Okay, so that of Bel Artar, etc. So what I intended to do was frame all of the actors perfectly. So if I had a steady cam, I would have been going around the scene properly. Dollies as well. Probably would have got rid of some of those takes in the middle, those shots, because there was no other way I could inform my narrative than that, unfortunately. So, and I would have made a more ambitious script, I think, and the location would have been a lot more vast, if I could have found. Well, this is quite a vast location in terms of a lot of depth of field in terms of the seaside there, but I'd have liked a longer walk and things like that. I'd have loved to taken it to the complete extremes, but this is what I could have managed for now.
Can I ask how you made the decisions you did to edit where you did instead of that long shot?
Yeah, so I was going to do what they call a one-up, which is a one take scene technically, but it would have been a one-take film here. But then certain things, such as introducing Yana's character Aisha, that would have been tough for me without the certain camera equipment I had to sort of pan to her, zoom into her, so we see that. And this is my first attempt at writing a script, so it's quite, you can tell it's my first attempt at writing a script. It's very sort of cheesy and, cliche. But it wasn't really, it's not really about the narrative as such, it's about the way I'm telling it. It's about the form that it comes in. So, going back to your question, I'd simply cut there, just for the ease of shooting it, because without the equipment there's no way I'd be able to do a one-up for that, unfortunately. So, and also for the actors as well. In terms of, think how hard it is, being bilingual, so all the actors obviously are bilingual. So I was directing in English, I don't really speak any other languages. So the scripts are all in English, and I gave them the scripts to go home and translate and come back with. So we had 4 different languages on set. So I was directed in English, they were obviously communicating with me and each other in English, but then they were acting in their own language. So for that to have gone on for 11 minutes, one shot without any mistakes is pretty unreasonable. It's quite probable something would have gone wrong. And apart from what the actors tell me, I don't know if what they're saying is exactly what's written down. So I would kind of just have a lot of trust in these people. But like I said, it's not about the story, it's about the storytelling in this
The
instance.
Welsh was, what your subtitles.
They weren't true exact.
Yeah, it wasn't literal, but
yeah.
it was correct translation of what he was saying.
Yeah.
You'd be glad to know.
Yeah. God. I made sure I asked the actors. I said, as long as you're happy with the translation that I give out, then that's fine. But I don't claim to be any linguist. Any more questions on the film?
Can I ask a conceptual one and then
Yes.
pipe down as well?
I've got another one.
I guess going back to that long shot or one shot, the purpose for you, had you have had the Steadicam, obviously because you've mentioned it, is in any of this work the intention to expose the technique of filmmaking? When we're watching the film, that actually it doesn't really matter what your equipment would have done, because we're aware of what we're doing anyway. There's none
Yeah.
of that kind of need to suspend that disbelief for a second.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely, especially with the first take, the walk-in take, you can 100% tell that's all handheld because it's all over the place, the framing's off, etc. But I think, yeah, there's no point in me trying to hide it because, I mean, obviously I tried the best I could to keep the camera steady, but there was no way I was going to be able to play that off as anything else than what it was. So I think, should you just ask the question again, sorry?
Yeah, I guess maybe if I give a bit more context, I mean, for me, conceptually, it felt as though I was watching everything anyway.
Yeah,
So, regardless of what the camera would have done, that wouldn't have taken me out
Yeah.
of the narrative, because I'm not used to my focus and my eye line being that steady anyway.
exactly, yeah. So, and also, luckily, the kind of, because she's walking, it kind of gives the camera some motivation to move in that kind of sense, as well. So, yeah, I think we do suspend our disbelief and think, you know, you can hear you might hear something that shouldn't be there or whatever, but you're trying to get into the narrative. So I think you do push some things aside, and like you said, you're not looking at the whole frame at once. You're looking at certain bits, the thirds and stuff. So hopefully I've managed to at least show some sort of story there through that. I know it's about the storytelling. So. Yourself?
Did you want to ask something?
Just very quickly about there's some with probably a timing thing. There's some things that seem like deliberate decisions around the music. Like when it came in was very distinctive. That there was no music, and then suddenly when she started walking, there was. What if you talk us through? Kind of
So music's actually quite an interesting one. I did have a composer on board. Well, I do have a composer on board, but they sort of ended up, drifting away as people do, and they got other commitments, etc. I couldn't really offer him much money other than 40 quid. So, so I had a composer on board who was sending me. So I was giving him the script, I was giving him drafts, I was giving him rough cuts, and he was sending me back. Oh, I'm going to do this for this. I'm going to put all this musical terminology. So I didn't really know what it meant. So I was googling it, trying to find examples, and I knew in the back of my mind, I was like, he's not going to be able to get me the music by the screening. So I had already started doing my final cut with stock music. So this is all off YouTube, but it's royalty free. So it was me doing the music, and I am tone deaf. So I needed a couple of bits of advice from other people, but for me, there was very deliberate decision. It took me a couple of sessions just to get the music where I wanted it and trying to fade it, and I didn't really know how to use all the audio effects, so I was working all that out as well. But there were very deliberate decisions in terms of the timing. So when they come up the stairs, it's not timed completely correctly because there was other parts in that motif that I wanted to hit on certain notes of the film and actions on the film. But when they come up the steps, there's a lot of changes in the music. So the time where we see Yana's, so Aisha's face, when she comes around, she's got her hood up, then a different sort of tone kicks in to the music. And also when Olivia gets to the top of the steps, there's kind of like a stop of music and just holds along the note, and then she walks. And then we get a bit of, not silence, but we just get some ambient sounds, which kind of bring us into the scene. If that answers your question, I hope it does. Okay, any more questions?
One at the back, yeah.
Was it a conscious choice to shoot at a higher frame rate?
Yeah, I don't know how you spotted that. Yeah, essentially, I had a bit of an issue when I put the footage onto Premiere in the first place, in that the frame rate was... So I shot in 50, and then in Premiere it decided to, even whatever I did, it decided to put it to 25, so then I exported it back to 50, and I think that's done the trick. But it was a conscious decision, but it wasn't an artistic decision, it was more just a practical decision, because it was like a slideshow essentially. That's what it looked like to me, so I just ramped it back up again. Yourself?
Oh yeah, sorry, I was going to look at the theatre actually. I was going to ask you, maybe I'll have to explain this, we run out of time. So, filmic space. Okay,
Yeah.
so you do something to disrupt
Yeah.
how we construct. I'll just ask you in this very like third year oriented terminology because it comes the end of secondary. You do something to disrupt how we construct consciousness visually because actually montage is full of blink. You know, montage actually does represent how we see things.
Yeah.
We look, then we change, we move. So you do something to disrupt that.
Yeah.
By just keeping it in single shot, which is very odd to watch. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like we never see the world like that.
Yeah, no, no.
Which is a really nice sort of cinematic kind of effect to have. And then you put in music, and so you recreate a filmic space that we're much more comfortable with. And do you know what I mean? And actually, I wondered if you wanted to look at the soundtrack again, because it kind of undermines what the visuals are doing.
Yeah.
Because if you doubled up on the audio and we just walked in silence like that, that never happens in life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we think things.
Yeah.
But the music gives us kind of succor. And I wondered if you'd push the experimenters in terms of looking at durational film as far as you'd like to, because there are things that you could do, like with the audio. And,
Yeah,
and just really creating a filmic space that was much more durational.
Yeah.
Could it go further for you, or
I think,
are you in a
again,
place
yeah,
where
I think
you're comfortable?
this is probably as far as I was comfortable to push it with all the parameters.
Yeah.
But I think definitely there is scope to. When I was editing it,
I'm sort of wondering, you as an artist, would you like to go further
Yeah,
in
yeah.
this, or is this like you've gone, oh no?
No,
this
no,
is
100%. I enjoyed making this film quite a lot, and I enjoy watching
Yeah.
slow cinema. But I was kind of using Bela Tarr as my sort of main alternative, main inspiration.
Yeah.
So his sort of soundtracks and scores kind of mimic ones of this.
Okay.
So I thought if I keep to that kind of style
Yeah.
and work out how he feels
You've got
when
a
he's
model
doing it.
that works, yeah.
Exactly.
I see,
And I was looking at Italian neorealism as well.
yeah.
And I watched the last scene from The Bicycle Thief, if you've ever seen it. And it said that came out in 1948, and that was Vittorio De Sica. And there's not any music in that final bit.
Yeah.
So when I was editing, I played around with just muting all the soundtracks and just watching it silent.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I don't know, because my story, like I said, my script and my storytelling isn't great, I thought I need something to show you how to feel a little bit, so I put some music in.
Yeah, no, this is
Yeah.
the thing, isn't it? And then last minute you think, oh my god, they're all going to be watching this going, what the fuck?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
So suddenly you put something in which...
I've got a little bit
comes
conscious
with
with it,
stuff,
yeah.
we all go, oh no, it's fine, there's music playing. Which
But I think also it helps to connect the audience, because if I just showed you a silent film right now, everyone would be like, well, is the sound not working? Or because I don't think we're that used to watching silent film anymore.
it's worth looking, you probably are aware of Michael Haneke, and it's worth looking at films like Cachet, particularly the opening of film, which it's a conventional narrative film, mainstream cinema, got a cinema
Yeah.
release. But it really, the first 10 minutes of Cachet, when you watch it, you'll enjoy it. It's called
Okay.
Hidden in English.
Okay.
Watch it, because I don't even want to tell you what happens
Okay.
or doesn't happen.
Alright,
Because you watch it and you'll see that half the audience of the cinema would have left.
we'll just walk
Yeah,
out
they
here.
would have gone.
That's the thing with slow cinema, is if you don't mind me just going on a little bit, is they talk about boredom as a method of viewership, a method of spectatorship, in that boredom actually works as an artistic sort of understanding mechanism for the audience, and it's kind of it's not, but it's kind of a compliment if you said that was boring, because for me that's what I was trying to achieve, a film that's perceived as boring. But it's in that dead time that the Hollywood studios would never have. So the average shot length of this is something, it's like 133 seconds. Whereas the average shot length in Hollywood is about 5 seconds. Okay, I've got a graph just here actually. It's in my bibliography and stuff, but average shot length of certain directors, so Christopher Nolan, less than 5 seconds. Okay, crazy. Whereas Bela Tarr, myself, would be through the roof. On this scale, we'd be up there, way up there. We'd go maybe top.
Oh look, there is Michael Haneke.
Yeah.
Right, the far end.
So
Yeah.
he's very mainstream in terms of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
saying
that's what I'm
it's a
saying. It's
mainstream
actually
kind of-
narrative
yeah.
cinema at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But watch it because it's right at the outer reach of what's acceptable in
Yeah.
mainstream narrative
Because
cinema.
that's the thing about the popular and art cinema kind of debate,
Yeah.
is that how far can you stretch it? I guess he's got the kind of
Yeah,
the
he is.
bread line.
And it's
Yeah.
Cachet. Cachet is the film you want to watch.
Catch it,
Because that's the one with the start which puts everyone off.
Yeah.
And actually the closing shot
It's brilliant,
puts
yeah.
everyone off as well. You'll really enjoy it.
Okay. Any
We're
more
gonna have to
questions?
leave it there, if that's okay.
Yeah, I can talk about
Because we're gonna have to get out for the
Yeah.
film.
Thank
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Jack.
That sets a bar for everyone else, doesn't it?
Mm.
Do we